Life is good. Hiya. Hiya loves y'all. You are Creation 13. I am Adam Bay, and today I want to talk to you about some rather interesting things we've been doing research on. If you watched my previous video, I was talking more about, on how there's hidden codes within words. You look at words, you can look at words in reverse. You can look at words through numbers. Um, there's many different ways on what a word is, and what is a word, what defines that word. Word is a spell. You have to learn how to spell words. So each word is a spell that you are invoking onto the world. And that right there is a hidden symbolism right there. Because I typed in God, and God in European or reconstructed European is a root word for to call or to invoke. So every time you say God, you are invoking. And what is invoking? Invoking is a command, uh, uh, doing a spell, things of that nature. Um, Look up invoke because there's many different meanings behind that. So God is invoke, and I'm learning about another uh, variation of the word God is Gad, and it's a longer name than what I have. But if you look up Gad, was the name of a pan Semitic god of fortune. So Gad is the god of fortune, which is talked about in the Bible as well, which is quite interesting. So God is to invoke. Gad is the god of fortune or the god of misfortune. The root of all evil. Gad is evil. Money is evil. The root of all evil. So it's rather interesting. And I lost my train of thought there. So with that being said, this is pretty much what I'm doing research on right now. This is what the Most Highs and the ancestors were leading me towards. Because if you look at my previous videos I've been making, I've been doing scriptures and reading out of the Bible, certain elements through there, and they are, the ancestors want me to read those and make those videos for a certain reason, and it's unfolding to my research I'm doing right now. And the reason why I say this is because research is key. You have to do research. If you're not doing research, you're never going to learn. And if you don't learn, then you lack knowledge and you lack wisdom. That's going to help you and benefit your life. It's going to help you remember your soul and gain back your soul. Because with all this invoking, especially in religion, everybody is invoking to a god, or Gad, misfortune or fortune. They are invoking their fortune, which is their soul, to a deity or a being, a spirit, because there's many spirits around us. They're allowing their energy to go elsewhere instead of staying right here. Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just do research. So, anyways, with that being said, the Most Highs, the ancestors, have been having me look into who is a trickster. I've talked about the trickster, I've talked about the jester before in previous videos. Who is the trickster? Who is controlling you? I don't want to say humanity, I want to say who is controlling you. Something something is controlling the reality that you live in, without your knowledge and without your awareness. If you look into religion and stuff, it teaches you, that Satan is the god of the world, uh, um, Lucifer, the fallen angel, right? If you look to religion, that's what they talk about. That Satan controls this reality, and that a savior came to save us from the deception of Satan, right? So you have to be aware just how much trickster is, how much the Satan character is, because Satan is a trickster. And with a trickster, if Satan runs the world, you have to think of how much tricks are being played out here, how much spells are being played out, right? Because, Satan was cast down. Satan was cast down. And what I mean by that is there's hidden symbolisms to what that means. So I decided to do research on this, and Bale comes up. Bale has came up quite a bit. Even in my previous videos, I've talked about Bale. Bale rhymes with veil. So, and also if you look into Bale, let me do that real quick. If you look into Bale, translation is Father, or Father in Heaven, which I found quite interesting because I did not know that Bale was related. Hold on here. Let me take a look and see. I was trying to figure out how to swap my camera so then you actually see what I'm browsing, but can't figure it out yet. Alright, so Bale or Bale was a title or honorific meaning Lord. And what is Lord? Authority. Bale's also associated with solar cults. A solar, like solar system, the planets, and that's what this is going to get turned into with my research. So Bale is related to solar system cults, worshiping the solar system or the planets. And Bale is also related to the god, which is to invoke the god named Yahweh. Like I said, Yahweh is the devil. Bel is the devil. So, got that one. Bel was also, Bel is also decreed as the false god, which God is again invoke. Word. So if you reconstruct Bel just using BL, it can be reconstructed into Bel signifies owner, and an extension of Lord, which is authority, can be master or husband. So husband, this must be where they're getting the father figure from, is husband, because Bel also had a daughter named Jezebel, and basically, and that's also interesting. Bel is also identified as El or Dagon. So Bel is also El and Dagon. And like I said, there is two L's. One L is the trickster and the other L is is the creator. So I'll go ahead and quit reading this. This is actually ties in pretty good with the video right now. So, with that being said, talking about L here. Alright, so we got Bell. And I just explained what Bell is. And as I was doing research, because there's a video I've been watching, I forget her name. Hold on. There's a video I'm watching from Rose of Sharon. You can look her up on YouTube. And she put a lot of this stuff that I'm doing research on into a video, which was quite fascinating. I'll post a link maybe. And remember, research purposes only. No matter what video you watch, it's for research purposes only. This is what you should be doing. You should be writing down everything to do research on. Every little piece of detail. And that's what I do. So anyways, when I was watching some more of the video, when she was talking about some different stuff, I also came across the seals. Seals have been talked about a lot too. You hear about the 7 seals in the Bible. And it's been popping up a lot on my path. These seals, breaking the seals, opening the seals, right? Well, I talked about this in previous video too, but the seals in the Bible is your seals or cells called DNA. So the seals are within you, and you can turn seals into cells. And if you break down either seals or cells, you get L, EL. EL is in both of them. And what is EL? It is a key word. It is, because even in Bell you get L. And it can be a trickster, it can be creation, it can be both. I say you are creation 13 for a reason. Whether you catch on or not, I don't know. But anyway, so seals or cells are the same thing. So basically what they're talking about in the Bible is unlocking your own DNA. And what I mean by unlocking your DNA is realizing that you are in charge of your vessel. You are in charge of your being. You are in charge of what your soul is. You are protecting your soul, or at least trying to remember how to protect your soul. Because that's you. This vessel is not you. Your soul is you. So you need to unlock, get rid of all this garbage, all these spells that you are putting on yourself, or that you're surrounding yourself with. Because like I said, God translates into invoke. So everybody that you are in contact with is invoking a spell on you. That's something to really be cautious and aware of. So that was on my path, so I wrote that down, and then Lucifer, it also popped up, and I decided to do research on Lucifer. So Lucifer is Venus, and I didn't know that till today, and I may have known that earlier, but it just didn't really pop up. So Lucifer is Venus, Satan is Saturn. And you can look up Satan and Saturn. They're linked up pretty good. And that you can do research on. I'm sure I'll make a video on it someday, but just not today. But Lucifer really popped up, and it really was something that I felt needed to be talked about. So with Lucifer is Venus, and Satan is Saturn, the false Jews, okay? And the reason I wrote the false Jews is because I guess the Jews and the fake Jews, because if you do research, are dark coppered brothers, the Moors. If you want to look up Moors, you understand, because they're not black like they always say they are. They're brown. They are copper or dark colored beings. It's just a darker skin, a brown tinted skin. Why I'm saying that right now is because America or the world themselves seem to be colorblind, literally colorblind. Just like with my skin, this is white. Last I checked, it does not match my skin color. So therefore, there's no way I'm white. It doesn't make any sense. And white and black are twisted because black means pale and white, black is pale and white is of a royal color or a higher degree. Something like that. I could be wrong on it. Like I said, I haven't done research, but anyways, black means pale, and it's just a mess. So anyways, why I bring that up is because the Jews that are represented now are not the Moors, are not the dark brown skin colored beings that are talked about. Even the Bible, it says what color their skin was, but they refused to look into it. This color skin here was not around during the time period of the Bible, and that's something you have to do research on. So anyways, the Jews that are made known of, or the Muslims, whatever, are more of this color or a little darker color. Anyways, they are in the cult of Saturn and the cult of the Black Cube. And I say that because I guess if you do the research on the cult of Saturn and the cult of the Black Cube, you'll learn more about it. And I just totally dawned on me with its Black Cube, because if you go into Israel, I hope that's right. I was going to do research on it. But anyways, the Jews or the Muslims, there is a black box, huge black box that they go and they worship. And, I didn't know that. So putting the Black Cube together with Saturn, which is Satan, you also got Yahweh, things like that. They're worshiping the devil. So with that being said, you got the Bible, which is the same thing, because where does the Bible stories originate from? Israel. So that's something you also have to do research on, and it really started to click as I was doing my research. So Lucifer in Hebrew is Hallel, and Hallel means the shining one. Okay, so Lucifer means the shining one. Morning star. Lucifer in Latin means the morning star. So, and the morning star is planet Venus. This is why I said that Lucifer is Venus. It's planet Venus. I remember I said earlier, I hope I said it earlier. If not, oh yeah, I did. Yeah, because Bale is also, let me make sure I read that right. I read it somewhere. Remember how I said that? Oh man. Oh, anyways, let me quit stalling here. Alright, so anyways, so Lucifer is Venus, and like I said, I don't remember which one it was. Just watch, if you decide to rewatch the video, you'll find out what it was. But, back then, astrology was a huge thing. Tradition, astrology was a huge thing. There's a reason why astronomy is talked about a lot from our ancestors. And they worshiped the planets. So Venus was worshipped. And for some odd reason, I don't know what happened, but somebody translated these words and they turned them into stories. They turned these planets into stories. And that's what we have here. Lucifer is the morning star, which is Venus. And Venus you can see with the naked eye during certain time periods. You can see it rise up with the sun, which is interesting. You can see Venus rise up with the sun, which is why, they always say there's two suns, and why, gosh, why so many people make videos on, oh my gosh, there's two suns. It's Venus, okay? Lucifer, the morning star, is Venus. It rises with the sun and it goes down, which I got that in here too. Yes, in Greek. All right, so in Latin means Lucifer, the morning star, planet Venus. As an adjective means light bringer. In Greek, bringer of dawn. So Venus descends down or falls down during dawn. So you can see it go down during the dawn period, which also goes with the sun, which again is quite interesting. So Lucifer is Venus, okay? Because like I said, they worship, and they still worship, because if you're worshiping the origins of these names or these characters, you're worshiping the planets. And that's what's happening right now. And what do I mean by this? Because if Lucifer, the light bringer, is a planet, what does that have to do with the Bible? Like I said, they created characters to create a spell. Okay, they created it to create a spell. And this is where the whole tricksters come into play. So, with that, the Canaanite mythology, the morning star is pictured as a god, Hathor. And like I said, if you look up Lucifer, you're going to learn this. But the Canaanites are talked about a lot. And they, like I said, the morning star is pictured as a god. Hathor tried to take Baal's throne. Okay, Hathor tried to take Baal's throne. Hathor could not take the throne, so Hathor took the underworld, which is Earth, meaning controller of physical thoughts and dreams. And why I wrote that down is because there is a being or an energy that is taking control of everything. We have the planets, and we realize that the planets are being worshipped. And with Venus being worshipped and Saturn being worshipped and the sun being worshipped, that's where you see religions being formed here. So with that being said, you got to look into spirits and you got to look into elements, which is again quite interesting, because I am doing research on that as well. So anyways, I don't need to be explaining that, but yeah, so if you look up spirits, if you look up elements, it's going to fall into this astrology thing. So when you look into that, you're going to be looking into what is Lucifer, what is Satan. Satan is known as the Prince of Air. The Prince of Air. And if you look at... Oh, hold on. Oh, my computer's wanting to die on me. So if you look into the Prince of Air, and you look at one of my previous videos that I made, it was called what was it called? A new energy, Apsu energy, something like that. Watch that video and I explain more in depth on it. But I talked about how water is energy, is spiritual energy or synergy. And wind, I want to sneeze. But wind is also breath, or the spirit of the breath. Like I said, it's invoking. You're sending a vibration. You're invoking words out, spells out into the world. So if you got the Prince of Air and you got the power of breath and the power of wind, this intertwined into something else I learned is, learning about words and how they're reversed and intertwined, and you can use each word and create a little box. So you create a little box. I was gonna write one down. Hold on here. Alright, so go ahead and use this one. So if you create a box, so if we create a box, see if we get this right. Oops. Okay, I think I got it now. Alright, so if you create a box, like so, and I'll use L for an example because L is being used a lot right now. You can switch it around. You can literally just spin it and it's going to look different each way. You got EL, you got EL in reverse, which it's already reversed anyways. But you can reverse it and you can spell differently both ways. And then you can also, with L, you can get M, which is highlighted right there, which is 13. You get W as well, and things like that. And you get the little half squares. So it's learning that words that you're invoking, it's in all four directions. It's all four directions. And this brought in the Prince of Air, and this also brought in the four corners of the earth. It talks about the four corners of the earth and the great wind, which I'll read right now. This was in Revelations, I think, chapter 7. It says 144,000 sealed. But it talks about, after this I saw the four angels standing at the four corners of the earth, holding back the four winds of the earth to prevent any wind from blowing on the land or on the sea or on any tree. But yeah, it talks about the four corners of the earth there. And it also talks about Alright, also in Revelations chapter 21, it's entitled Satan's Doom. It's also talked about here. And this is where another little key point stuck it with me. When the 1,000 years are over, Satan will be released from his prison and will go out to deceive the nations, the four corners of the earth. Again, the four corners of the earth are talked about. They talk about Gog and Magog. To gather them to battle in numbers, to gather them to battle In numbers they are like the sand on the seashore. They marched across the breadth of the earth and surrounded the camp of God's people. And what does God again invoke? So, they marched across the breadth of the earth and surrounded the camp of, or they surrounded the camp, invoking the people. The city he loves, but fire came down from the lake of burning sulfur where the beast and the false prophet had been thrown. They will be tormented day and night, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, there was hidden symbolisms in there, right? So when it says in here, as soon as when you start, when the 1,000 years are over, so Satan will be released from his prison and will go out to deceive the nations in the four corners of the earth. Okay, so 1,000 years. 1,000 years can mean there can be a thousand different ways or 1,000 different words that Satan can use to deceive you. Okay, it's hidden symbolism. Is it 1,000 years? It could be, but you can also look at this with words, like I showed you with that cube. So you got thousands of words because he is the prince of air. Oh, excuse me. And right here, that's why it says this right here, that Satan will be released from his prison and will go out to deceive the nations. How is Satan going to deceive the nations? Because it is the prince of air. Satan is the prince of air. So, and that is breath, that is invoking, that is words. Go out and deceive the nations in the four corners of the earth. The four corners, again, like I said, is every single word is a word within a word within a word. The God's word. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. To gather them for battle. Okay, so gather the four corners of the earth, to gather them to battle in numbers. So in number, they are like the sand on the seashore. Again, in numbers, they are like the sand in the seashore. And you got numbers, you got 1,000 years, you got the four corners. So here you can view it as you know, you got to start digging deeper into things. You got to look at what is being said here. And or it could just be, you know, just for certain people. I get this. But, you know, I just found it fascinating that numbers was in there with the four corners, and when you do the research like I did, it makes sense because you use numbers and letters and you mix them together and you get a formula, which I'll talk about too. So yeah, and then the rest I already talked about already. So yeah, I found that quite interesting, how the four corners of the earth is talking about the prince of air, and it's also talking about the power of breath and the vibrations that you're sending out. Like I said, with that Bible, you got to look at it as symbolisms and not a physical experience. Just like with dreams, things may look physical, but they are not physical. To an extent, it's a lot of hidden symbolisms. Your life is a lot of hidden symbolisms. Either you're going to look at the symbolisms or you're going to focus more on the fake physical reality. So, hopefully this makes sense to you guys. Let's see. So, I was talking about God and invoking. You know, if you read through that Bible, you notice a lot about God. So God, you know, like we learned, is Gad. Can also be Gad, which is fortune or misfortune. And God also is to invoke or to call. So we got the God's word. You know, the word is God or something like that. What's it saying here at the beginning? All right. Oh, maybe it was at the end. But somewhere in the Bible it says, uh, the Word, God created the Word, and the Word is God. You know, God created the Word, and the Word is God. So God is to invoke, and words is spells. So invoking spells. So basically, the Bible is telling you that you are invoking spells onto the world. You know, this is a spell book. You know, just like any spell book, there is. It's the same thing. You know, and when you do codes on words, you realize that a lot of what is said, like in the news, and what is said, even through YouTube videos, through certain people, they use hidden words, hidden meanings, and the military or secret services, they use code words too. And you know, just like, you know, if you watch movies and or like truckers, you know, they have code words they use. The military and the secret service does the same thing. The news does the same thing. They use code words. So it may look like, say, church, for example. You know, church is being talked about a lot. You'd look up the word church and you go and you number the church. I was gonna do that, but that's fine. You can figure it out. But um, use the word church and you add it up. Oh, excuse me. But you add it up and it turns into a code. So I'm going to explain about the codes right now. But anyways, that's how the secret services and the military work, is through codes. How do I know this? You just got to do research. It's pretty obvious. And you can see that through videos too, which is pretty uncanny. And that's how you discover who's who. And it doesn't mean that everybody is part of the Secret Service, no, because you know it doesn't take it doesn't take a genius to discover this stuff. You know, if you're doing research, you're going to find this out. You're going to learn about it, and it's going to help you do research and learn things. Because I do that through my videos as well. So yeah, so encoding words. And I decided to encode Lucifer. Okay, so Lucifer, you'll start with each one. So Lucifer starts with L, so you get L is 12 in the alphabet. So L is 12, U is 2, C is 3, I is 9, F is 6, E is 5, and R is 18. So you want to add all that up and you'll get 38. Okay, and 38, hold on here, I forgot this right here, but it equals 38. So you want to do 3 and 8. So so 3 is C and 8 is H. And you're going to find this a lot with these H's. So you got 8, 9, 10, 11. So you add up what you would just added up. So you got 8, 9, 10, 11. So you get 11. And you got to do research on this, but if you do 1 plus 1, it equals 3. Like I said, do research on it and you'll discover why that is. But 1 plus 1 is 3, and I believe it's because you got the plus there. It equals an additional 1. So 1 plus 1 is 3, and with 3, you reverse the 3 and you get M. So you get M, and that equals into 13. And why I did that is because it's going to teach you on how to to do numbers and words at the same time. Because if you turn just like with Lucifer equal 38, you can also turn that into an M, which is 13. So you get 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you end up with 12 and equal 12. So instead of 11, you'd also get 12. And you just have to play around. Here, and I'll show you. Like I said, it's in reverse, but see, you can use words and just add it up just like that. And I'm showing you that because that's where I do my research. So Lucifer equals 13. And if you reverse 13, you also get EL, which is L. So it's very interesting how Lucifer translates into L, which is the equal, blah, 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 blah. Which goes into Bel, which goes into God, blah, blah, blah. You know, Elohim, it equals the same thing. Okay? So, with that being said, before I forget, I also learned that Lucifer and Lucy are interconnected. I didn't give you all the research, but Lucy, I guess, can also be Lucifer's daughter, I guess. But I found it quite interesting because a lot of the New Agers or light workers are talking about Lucy, right? They made a movie of Lucy. You know, Lucy was a female artificial intelligence, IA intelligence. So it's Lucifer's daughter, which is artificial intelligence. Quite interesting. So, but if you look up Lightbringers, they talk about Lucy a lot. So that's the ultimate deception just right there alone. That means that they are worshiping Lucifer or tuning into the Venus energy. So yeah, I found that rather interesting. So with Lucy, you do the same thing. You got L, which is 12, U, which is 21, C, which is 3, and Y, which is 25, which equals 17. So you get 17, and you can also do the same thing. You got A, and you got, what is it, 7, which is a G. And you can also change that 7 around, it turns to an L. And G, I learned, is a 6. So you can also turn a G into a 6. And since 7 is G, that's 13. Which is quite interesting right there. And with that, you add that up too. So you got 7. So Lucy equals 17, and then you add that up, so you get 7, 8. So you get 8, and 8 is H, and with H you can spell hell. And why I did that is because you get L, which is 13. But 13 was already in there because we got 7 and we got G, which is 6, so that's 13 as well. So either way, you get 13. So not only do we have Lucifer that goes into 13, we also get Lucy that turns into 13, which also turns into L. Okay, so I decided to do hell as well. So we'll add up hell, and we get to the equal point of 15, which is also, you get A and 5, which is E. You get AE. And also, with that, trying to see how I did this. And with that, you get AE. How did I do that? I don't remember. I have to write it down. But anyways, with hell, I ended up getting it where it turns into to zero, or the 0 point. And I don't remember how I discovered that. Well, anyways, I'm sure I'll talk about it in a video. But it had something to do with Lucifer and Satan. I don't remember. Well, anyways, I'll move on. So, same with Ahaya, and there's a reason why I said that in this video. I said Asham last video, Asham, and I said Ahaya in this video. And like I said, there's a specific reason why I said both of them. So Ahaya, you do the same thing, you add it all up, and you get 26. And with that, same thing, you get B. Oh, you get B and you get F. But 6 plus 2 is 8, which is 8, which is hell. You get 13. And like I said, I'm trying to remember how I got the 0 point. Anyways, but yeah, so 8 is H, which is hell, which is 13, which is L. For Ahaya, which again is very interesting because all these are pinpointing to 13, which is L. And you get Hashem, same thing. You add that all up, you get 36. And with 36, you get 3, which is C, and 6, which is F. And you can also get G out of that. And you add those up, 6, 7, 8, 9, you get 9, which is an I, and you get 9. And that's very interesting because 9 and 13, oh my gosh, is hidden symbolism right there. And I got pinpointed at, let's see if I remember where it was. I think it was in Matthew. Yes, Matthew 9, chapter 13, I believe, is the Lord's Prayer. I think that's what it is. Maybe it's not Matthew. Well, anyways, if you do 9:13, you get the Lord's Prayer, which is authority, which is also Gad or Bel. So yeah, it's pretty twisted. Pretty twisted. But anyways, so if you look up 9:13, the Lord's Prayer or God's Prayer, there's hidden symbolisms right there. So it's very interesting. Man, I want to find that. Hold on. Let me see. Pull some of these. Alright. Hold on here. Yeah, Matthew. Oh, Matthew 6. Looks like Matthew 6. So let me see if that's right. Matthew 6. 9 through 13. Yep, right here. Yep, so 9:13. So Matthew 6, 9:13. And that alone is going to end up turning into another word. Alright, so the Lord's Prayer. It says, Our Father in heaven, hallowed by your name. Your kingdom come, and like I said, hallowed by your name means to invoke. Our Father in heaven, which they're talking about, Lucifer, the morning star. They're either talking about Saturn or Venus. More likely, they're talking about Saturn. So, anyways, our Father in heaven, hallowed by your name, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. It's quite interesting. So yeah, you put all this stuff together, you get some rather interesting stuff. Like I said, I'm still trying to process this stuff, so this video is kind of all over the place. But hopefully this makes sense. Like I said, I've talked about this stuff before in videos, but I just found it rather interesting. You know, and this will tie into El, the god of the earth. Because like I said, you know, there is two L's. There is two L's. There's the trickster and there is the creator, or the one who is over the trickster. You know, the trickster or the prince of air is there to help you unlock yourself, help you unlock your DNA, to help you unlock the seals that live within you. You know, your whole process here is to remember you. You, if you discover this or not, you will discover that you put yourself here for a reason. You know, not only to aid other souls, but you know, maybe you were John. Oh man, time for bed. But anyways, you were here. You're either here to get yourself out of this illusion, or you're here to help people get out of the illusion. Either way, you're here to help. And it's interesting with illusion, you have L in there, which is also 13, which is EL. So, you know, L is everywhere. You know, L is the foundational structure of this reality. No matter what kind of equation that you come up with, no matter what you do, you're going to end up getting L. Why that is because that is the secret formula of this matrix structure. That's why L is used so much. You know, 13 is used, and why 13 is hidden from being acknowledged, because it's so powerful, because it's invoking. You know, it's invoking into that air, into that space, the vibrational frequency. It is that energy. You know, like I said, you know, I used the universal God concept just because that's where humanity is at. You know, they view God as a religious word, but they don't realize what it means. You know, because then when you decide to do research on anything, it's pain in the butt. So so this video is pretty much an hour. So if you stuck with me, awesome. Hopefully this made sense. If not, well, you just have to do research. Research is key, and you, like I said, you know, you gotta write stuff down. But yeah, so I think we'll go ahead and end this video. Like I said, I'll be doing more videos on this stuff quite a bit, because encoding words seems to be the key to unlocking unlocking your cells, unlocking your seals that live within you to break out of this. Because I made a video way back entitled the Three Worlds. And the three worlds are you got the physical aspect. What was it? Physical world, spiritual world, and then the balanced world. And you have to intertwine them both. You don't want to go this way and you don't want to go this way. You want to be in a balanced state. And this is going to be called your 5D. The world is splitting. Okay, the world is splitting. And people are deciding to choose this one or this one. Either they're going to choose a physical, they're leaning more towards a physical aspect or more towards the spiritual aspect. And why I say spiritual is because it is the invoking the God aspect. So when I say God, it means to invoke words or invoke spells. They're wanting to become their own gods. And that's something that just sparked with me. So people want to become their own invokers. And and I think that's another subject I probably should leave alone right now. But basically, they're both illusions. Physical world's illusion, and those who want to be their own gods are illusions. They're falling away because when these things split, what's going to happen is that they are going to circulate around into that figure eight, into that spiral motion. But when you're in a balanced state, you're going to keep rising up. You're going to keep rising up. You're not going to be stuck in either or of those planets. And that's something you have to realize. You want to stay in a balanced state. You need to stand in your power. You need to realize who created you and what created you, because you are part of creation. You are part of the book of life. And the book of life is creation. So when you put all these elements together that I explained in this video, you're going to realize that you are the book of life. You are a part of the book of life. You are not higher than Hashem or Ahaya. And Hashem, if you look into that word Hashem, means the name. And what is the name? Again, is the word. And what is the word? Is God. And what is God? Is to invoke. Which again is spells. Which also is creation. Which also is L, which is 13. So I'll go ahead and end it on that. If you got any questions, let me know. But yeah. So I really don't have anything else to say. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video. But yeah, think before you say stuff. Look into words and what they mean. And start rewording words to break out of the spell. Because when you start rewording things, like say for you, for example, instead of saying Y-O-U, just put U. Okay? And with you, what is U again? U is 21, and with 21 you get A and you get B, which also is what? 13. So yeah, so either way, regardless, you're gonna learn a lot of stuff just from this video alone. So yeah, I gotta end this video. So yeah, so just be aware, be very cautious of what is taking place, who is the Prince of Air, who are you invoking to, talking to, what kind of vibrational frequencies are you sending, start rewording words, rewriting words, and then look into the words that you're rewriting. Like I said, you're going to find a lot of L's and a lot of 13s through that. Yeah, so love yourself, discover who you are, uh, continue to unlock those seals or those cells that are within you, unlock your DNA. Just continue to focus on yourself, heal yourself, and learn from yourself. Because if you're not learning, you're not growing, and if you're not growing, uh, you're going to continue to be invoked on, and you're going to continue to be part of the illusion, part of the spell. So I love y'all very much. Keep shining bright, and talk to you in a little bit.